formation of the National Premier Soccer League in 1971. He was chairman of the Premier Soccer League from 1996 to 2001 and acting CEO for some of this time. He passed away at the age of 87.
My history, your history. Cover ikasi lakho.
All right, your time, it is 21 minutes after the hour, 10 o'clock. And of course, our apology there. We started the show a little bit later. And of course, our special guest joining us tonight is Mr. Theo Lengwati, the president of the Bramley View Residents Association. He's joining us tonight live, visually. It is what it is. And it's a very good evening to you, South Africa, wherever you're at. Welcome to it. It's a beautiful Sunday. Hopefully you had yourself a superb Sunday. It is a special edition. Welcome to it. Certainly doesn't get better and bigger than this. 22 minutes after the hour, 10 o'clock. And of course, our special guest tonight is Mr. Theo Lengwati, the president of the Bramley View Residents Association. All right, without further ado, let's cut straight to the chase, to the man himself. Hi, Mr. Lengwati, good evening to you, sir. Good evening to you, Mr. Lengwati, can you hear me?
How are you, sir?
I'm very well, thank you, my brother.
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
No, I'm all thank you.
All right. Let's cut straight to the chase. To the many listeners out there and to our viewers, just in a nutshell, just take us through who is Theo Lengwati, and also what is the Bramley View Residents Association?
No, thank you very much, and good evening to all the listeners. I know there's some people from Ward 81 and who are joining us. My name is Theo Lengwati. I was born in Alexandra, called Fifth Avenue. I moved to Bramley View when I was 9 years old. Today I am a father. I'm a community activist. I'm a ward committee member in Ward 81, and some know me as an independent candidate when it comes to the political, I suppose, the landscape. And how we got about registering the Bramley View Residents Association was that we saw that we are vulnerable as a community in Bramley View, especially, look, crime is rampant. Crime has always existed in and around our community, but it became worse most recently when the communities of Lombardy East started to gate their community. Lombardy West gated their community. Savoy gated their community. In Alex, Nofonale, Mapatrola, Lily CPF, and in Linda, they've got private security companies such as CAP, Patrolling, and we were left vulnerable. Every neighborhood that I just named surrounds Bramley View, and all of them seem to be protecting themselves in any way possible. Therefore, funneling the crime into Bramley View, because when criminals walk into this neighborhood, they realize that, okay, here is the gap. And therefore, crime has just escalated dramatically in the past 2 to 3 years. So, yeah, we thought, let's do something about it as well. And we knew that it cannot be done by one person or a group of people alone. We had to involve the community and speak to the community and find out how can we do this as a community. So from November 2023, we started the research and development phase with a team we called an interim committee. And I'd like to take this opportunity to thank those members, because we wouldn't be here today without them. From the research and development, we went into a consultation phase where from about April 2024 to November 2024, we were engaging with community members, building our contact list, our communications list, trying to reach each and every home from door knocking. We've got email addresses, we've got WhatsApp, we've got people who've recently joined WhatsApp groups. And eventually, we got to this year where in February, we registered the Bramley View Residents Association as a non-profit organization. And we had our first annual general meeting where I was elected the president. And of course, I've got other executive members that I work with that were elected on the day as well. We finalized our constitution and we opened our bank account, and now doors open to saying, okay, now that we've done all of this, here we are, and let's get the security right.
Wow. Quite a great work indeed there. Now, tell us more, Mr. Lengwati, what were some of the pressing challenges and pressing problems that you came across and that you still feel that needs to be ironed out as an association?
The challenges that I would say we are facing then and even now is participation of our community members. We do have some community members who believe that because we pay rates and taxes, government will come to our rescue. And honestly, that's not the case. We do have some community members who think that because they have they have a camera system in their yard and their home, they are then safe, but not considering that the community they live in is not safe. And you're not going to only land up in your house. You will have to leave your house at some point or another. You will have to go to the shops. You'll have to go to work and come back. And nobody really hijacks you inside your property. It's usually as you're coming in or going out, or when you're around the community, as well as our kids. They can go missing. They can get abducted. They can get their cell phones stolen on the way to the shop or to school or anywhere really. And our biggest challenge was having the community to participate and come in numbers, to come and put their voice on the ground, say, listen.
Oh, yep. Okay. Seems to get a bit of a technical problem.
We are here, we are on the table, we are willing to participate. And we have a strong belief that the proof will be in the pudding. We hope then the community will see just how serious we are. But the biggest challenge right now is the participation from our own community.
So Theo, in terms of the community participation as an association, what drastic measures are you putting in place to convince members of the community to be part of the process?
Yeah, thank you. I think that's a good question. I think we are a learning association. First and foremost, we are learning from other associations that do surround us, because we are not the only ones. We do have CLERA, which is the Greater Lombardy Residents Association. We have Muntu Q Residents Association. We've got the concerned residents of Lombardy West, and we do consult a lot with them to find out how are they doing in their neighborhoods, how are they getting participation right. And of course, we do engage when it comes to public meetings. We engage via emails, we engage via WhatsApp groups. We've got 15 WhatsApp groups already for each and every extension. We've got a business WhatsApp group that for business forums. We've got about security. Yeah. We also introduce things like the dustbin sticker, where you put a sticker on your dustbin that says Bramley View Residents Association, and will have your contact details, and it will have your contact details, your house number, and your address. And it means that when your dustbin is stolen or happens to be outside of the community, we have partnered with law enforcement, SAPS, JMPD, private security companies to say, listen, when you find a dustbin with this sticker outside of our community, please call the number that's on the sticker and confirm if this person has indeed been given permission to be pulling this dustbin. We also introduce events where we fundraise, we have fun with the community gets to meet each other. We sell for fundraising purposes like we did at the Indaba. We've got Boerewors rolls, and yeah, we are trying to make it as fun as possible because sometimes our community, especially our youth, responds to something that is more of their interest than it is just security. So, look, we're doing the best that we can do, and we are open to learning even more. If other people have other ideas to say, these are the steps you can take to get to reach the community and convince them, then we are willing to do that. Most recently, we hosted a security indaba on the 30th of August, and one community member made it clear to say, perhaps one of the challenges is that we hosted this event during month end, whereas if we could have done it maybe middle of the month, then it could have had a greater participation because we have people buying high, we have people that have events or the society or funerals or weddings at the end of the month. So we are a learning association and we try by all means to use what we learn as and when. It is an ongoing process. It will never happen overnight, but I think we will get there. I believe we will get there.
All right. Still in conversation there with the president of the Bramley View Residents Association. Theo Lengwati is our guest tonight on That Real Talk. Now, Theo, you spoke about partnering with law enforcement agencies, particularly the JMPD and the SAPS. Now, take us through the confidence of the working relationship of the resident association with the private security companies. How are you working together? How do you plan to work together, particularly with the security companies? You've spoken quite very mouthfully in terms of how you guys you want to come together. How are you going to make sure that working together with the security companies and the police and the JMPD, that no one has to step into each other's toes?
Thank you for that. When it comes to working with SAPS, more than anything, we channel through the CPS. The community always existed and been dealing with the SAPS, and as a community, we figured it would be best to go through the Community Policing Forum. So indeed, it is welcomed by the SAPS and the CPS to say we are willing to hold hands and work together because safety is a concern for all of us, and it is our primary goal. When it comes to private security companies, what we have or what we are proposing to the community of Bramley View is a peace of mind more than anything. With a security company, we plan to have 3 boom gates where they are electronically controlled. So when you approach the boom gate, you just wave at those no-touch pads, and the boom gate will then open, and then you drive through. But when it opens, it is surveillance because you'll be recorded to see who is driving what car and who is the person that is entering into Bramley View and how many passengers are in the vehicle. As well as that, there will be license plate recognition cameras that pick up that this number plate is of interest with the SAPS. Again, this is where the partnership starts to strengthen. The license plate recognition will pick up if a vehicle is a vehicle of interest or if it is a hijacked vehicle and therefore will be intercepted in our community. With the security companies, we hope that, or rather we plan, that for every boom gate there is, which is 3, that there will be a security guard at those posts. The reason why we need that is that if there is a button that is pressed, that there is now a criminal activity happening within Bramley View, those security guards can close the gates until the culprit is found. inside the community, and then only reopen them once the danger or the alert has vacated. As well as that, we would like to have at least one security vehicle with two armed um, patrollers inside that vehicle where they roam around in the community, so that if there is indeed an engagement that needs a retaliation of firepower or of tactical response, that a security company will be able to take care of that. That we would love to have such a peace of mind that you only wake up to the news that there was a criminal attempt and yet they caught the person or the people that were involved. That's the whole idea of saying we would like to work with a security company. But again, the community, we are so young, the community is the one that's going to choose out of that. So we've got three options that we've given the community. Either we work with a security company, or we work with a CPF where we support them financially as well. We give them all the equipment that they need, as well as paying the individuals that are patrolling on a monthly basis, as well as, or rather, the third one would be then without a security, without a CPF, and only have surveillance of the and access control. So having the boom gates as well as cameras around. That would be the third option. Of course, we're trying to go to the first option because, again, that gives us the most peace of mind, knowing that the companies are doing it because they are paid to do it. But with the CPF, of course, it creates employment for our youth as well. We've got lots of youth members sitting at street corners, not knowing what to do with their life because a lot of them are unemployed, still looking for a job. Therefore, you find them at street corners smoking hardly, and really, we don't know, loitering more than anything. So we thought with the CPF structure, we'd be able to then enroll them to say, while you're chilling in those corners, let us pay you, let us put some uniform on you, and let us exactly tell you that, okay, from this hour to this hour, you'll be clocking in. So, yeah, we thought we hope to empower our community in that way, and those are the type of partnerships we'd like to build.
Yeah. Now, Theo, tell us more. What would be the difference between the Community Policing Forum and the so-called crime patrollers?
The crime you mean
the crime? No, not Mapanyaza. They are the Amapanyaza. They are called what? The crime wardens, right? I'm talking about, for example, in Alex we have CPF, yes, and then we also have the crime patrollers. Local, it consists of local community members. They call themselves the crime patrollers. So the difference that I would like to know, you spoke about the CPF, and then I'm also wondering whether in that vicinity, in that community of Bramley View, do you have other other crime fighting structures like the crime patrollers that are working together with the CPF, like in Alexandra? Do you have such crime fighting structures in the vicinity of Bramley? And then you also spoke about the issue of boom gates. Are you able also to tell us how many boom gates have been put, and which side of Bramley View are these boom gates visible so far?
Okay. So no, to answer your question, your first question, no, we don't have, what we currently have is CPF members. Unfortunately, they are undercapacitated at the moment. And then parts of Q, we know that they've got patrollers as well. I think they work with private security companies. But in Bramley View specifically, we've got 7 CPF members. All of them, they are all ladies. And we wish to capacitate the CPF so that we get more youth members involved, more of the guys involved. But the difference between the two, as far as I understand and I've been given information, is that the patrollers are always needed to be registered as a CPF member is registered. So as a CPF member, you go through a fingerprint background check, you go through a training from the SAPF and of the CPF, and the F's to be going through those systems but the patrollers are more controlled by their community, while the CPF is more controlled by the police station, if I'm not mistaken, of course. And then with regards to boom gates, we don't have any boom gates as yet. So the security Ndaba that we had on the 30th, this is what now we were proposing to the community to say, okay, we've all agreed that we're looking for boom gates. We've all agreed that we're looking for better security. And now it has been proposed and accepted. Now what we had presented on the 30th of August was then the prices to say, how much is it going to cost for us to have to have the boom gates on a monthly basis per household. So return Sabakai, every single house, in order for us to be able to maintain the boom gates, because unfortunately with boom gates, especially the ones, the electronic ones, the access control ones, you find that it's not a once-off cost. It has to be on a monthly basis. And certain parts will be closed completely, and those ones are once-off costs. But when it comes to the boom gate, it's going to be a monthly cost. At the moment, we don't have exactly where any of them are. But we do have exactly where we would like to put them. And I don't know if it's a security risk for us to make public information when you are passing through and realize that, hey, man, this road has changed. So just to go into a little bit of detail regarding that, we've got three main entrances and exits into Bramley View. One is coming from the Linders side, one is coming from Q, and the other is coming from Alexander. So the residential part of Bramley View, we are talking about those three entry points. And exit points.
Yeah. Now, tell us more about in terms of the infrastructure development. In terms of the population, the residents, the number, infrastructure development in terms of how many churches, how many complexes so far, in terms of development and so on, and how many schools have been built, and how big is Bramley View taking back from its inception till now? Somebody was telling me that now you have about quite a number of extensions. What are these extensions? Tell us more.
Yeah. Okay. So Bramley View is made up of two parts. There's Bramley View Industrial. This is now opposite CJC. You see where CJC is? Go take me.
Yeah, go take me on.
From Alexandra into Bramley View. You find on the right hand side. Yeah. You find on the right hand side there's a CJC college, and then up across the road there is Bramley View Extension 6. It is an industrial area, and this is the part that we are not necessarily talking about. If you then go further in and turn left at your first robot, only BP garage on the left.
Yeah.
Right? That is considered Bramley View as well. And then you cross over from BP onto the right hand side. Then you come into Bramley View Residence, which is now the residential area. Now, in this residential area, there are 879 houses, well, units, let's call them. Out of that 879, 250 of them are belonging inside a complex. We've got 4 complexes. One is Glen Villas, one is Whitney Gardens, the other is Bramley View Gardens, and the last one is Crystal News. So with those units put together, it makes up 250 units. We've got 4 commercial sized properties. We've got 1 commercial sized church, and we've got several shops. But however, houses that are operating as a business, we've got 77 of them. And of course, we've got pensioners as well in the community. We've identified that we've got about 99 households that are pensioner headed. And that's what it looks like. We don't have any schools. City Power is very close to us. And we have a park as well. It's called Bridge Road Park. It's unfortunately unmaintained, not well looked after. And we hope as an association we will adopt it as well and look after it much better than the current state that it's in. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, you also said it very mouthfully. You've also mentioned that you also have senior citizens there. I haven't heard you mentioning about the child-headed household. Are they there?
100%. So we've got 36 households that we call them non-paying, and out of those, we do have child-headed households. Not a lot, really. I think it's two or three that I personally know of. But we do have other households where nobody's working in the household. You might find that it's not a child that's heading the household, but nobody is actually working. And some families are indeed struggling and they are living. And we hope as an association that we'll be able to support those families rather than to ask of them to pay anything up front. And of course, those are the households that we'd like to also offer, especially the young people that are available, job opportunities so that they are able to support their families as well. So in total, we've got 36 of those households in Bramley View. And out of those 36, I must admit that a few of them are those that just refuse to participate. They're saying, don't count me in. I don't want to be part of this thing. And of course, we need to find a way to bring them on board as well and get their buy-in.
What were some of the most common crimes that you have experienced as residents of the Bramley residents?
Sure. Look, they vary. It's not just one crime. I think luckily we don't get to hear about a lot of murders and rapes, but the most common crimes is hijacking, stealing of phones, house breakings. We get batteries and stuff stolen from the vehicles, as well as that you find sometimes your vehicle is standing on bricks when you wake up in the morning. Petty crimes such as somebody's gardening tools and material being stolen. And most recently, we have people that come into the neighborhood and either request from an Uber or a Bolt, and they will then rob that Uber or Bolt or hijack that person, as well as when it comes to Uber Eats and Mr. D, somebody will order and I think those are naughty kids. They'll order and then they'll steal the food away from the person delivering or the phone from the person delivering. So those are the type of crimes that we've faced, especially most recently in Bramley View, and it happens quite often. And one lady most recently as well, she got robbed at knife point, not at gunpoint. They were using a knife to try and steal from her. But yeah, every now and then we hear of a snatch and grab where somebody jumps into a moving vehicle, an Uber-like or a Bolt-like vehicle, and they snatch your phone, jump into that vehicle, and the vehicle drives off. So it really varies. There's quite a number of criminal activity taking place, but what we don't hear a lot of is any murders or rapes, and which I'm very thankful for. So these crimes, I think these are the crimes that can be prevented, definitely, with access control and security and surveillance.
Yeah. So, and then also in terms of police visibility, how quick is the respond from police officers whenever there are serious crimes that are happening? The police visibility. So far, are you satisfied to say, well, the police are playing their part, although maybe they still need to be capacitated there and there? What is your take about the police visibility?
Our police are very challenged because when we always talk to government entities, they always speak about a budget to say they don't have budget for this, they don't have budget for that. And in our police stations, sometimes you find that only 2 vehicles are available at a time. And you find that when a crime happens, one of the vehicles is maybe involved in an accident, or one of the vehicles are at court transporting somebody who's supposed to be appearing in court. And therefore, we look vulnerable. It sometimes takes hours. I did take note most recently that when you dial 112 instead of dialing our direct police station, 112 would then be able to send police from surrounding areas, whether from Bramley, whether from Sandringham, whether from Orange Grove, whether from Alexandra. But when we call our station, it's not always very quick. However, I have had some great experiences where a crime will take place, you take a phone and you call, and within 5 minutes you find that maybe the vehicle was too close to the incident and therefore they are there. So we have good news and sometimes bad news, but obviously it could be better. Two vehicles at a shift is not enough. It can never be enough. And that's why we are also thankful to have other security companies that, because of some of our residents that pay them more cap and ADT, you find that when somebody calls the private security company, they also come much quicker. And I've had an opportunity, I must say, to test out the panic button, the e-panic button that was introduced by Panyaza Lesufi when it comes to the Gauteng e-panic. And I've used it and it works very well as well, where it's not just a police officer that comes to your aid when you need one. You find that even the closest security guards actually come to you. So all of this, for me, it only speaks to partnership, so that the police themselves are not working in silos and we are not working in silos, because once we do that, then we are going to depend on maybe a gap that can be filled perhaps by a security company or a CPF member. And unfortunately, we are relying solely on the police officers. So I think it does take a partnership for us to succeed, or it will take a partnership for us to succeed. But at the very moment right now, I think we all know about government not having enough resources, especially when it comes to the South African police services. Even our CPF members have to take some of their donations and actually assist get one of the cars for the SAPS back on the road because it was broken down. And of course, SAPS need to follow process on how to log for a vehicle that has broken down so that funds can be released to fix that vehicle. And CPF members have done a splendid job of donating some of that money so that immediately that vehicle can come back onto the road, because we cannot as a community afford to have another vehicle off the road. So it is a challenge with the SAPS. We get it, that it's not necessarily their fault. But I'd also like to urge our community members, because when we have a petty crime that takes place, our community won't go and open a case. And when you don't open a case, from upper level management at the SAPS, they look at the cases that have been logged with the South African Police Services on a monthly basis, and they realize that, oh no, Sandringham is doing wonderful. They only have such low crime, but it's because our people are not reporting. So if there's anything I would say to our people is, when you have a small crime, no matter how small, report it, because it tells those in management that there is a need in our community for more resources and better resources.
So Theo,
right now,
yeah. Okay, fine. Now Theo, from where we
don't have that partnership that we're looking for between the community and the SAPS.
Yeah. So what is it, Theo, that makes the community?
Sorry, I lost you a little bit there.
I say, what is the cause of the problem for the community not to report serious crimes committed to them? Is it maybe there's a lack of trust from the community to the police, or maybe the community has lost faith to say, well, if you report a case, nothing is going to happen? There's quite a lot of backlog of cases. I mean, many cases are dockets and dockets and dockets of cases have not been solved up until now. So what is it that makes people to decide not to go ahead and open cases? And then also my other question to you, Theo, I want us to touch on the issue of the panic button that you've alluded earlier on, to say, what is the importance, the significance of this panic button that you spoke about, that even Premier Panyaza Lesufi has introduced some of these panic buttons? So what is the importance and the significance of this panic button? Can you safely say you are safe and sound when you have a panic button?
Look, you can never say you are safe and sound in South Africa with the current statistics of crime. And unfortunately, a panic button is a reactive measure because once the crime takes place and hopefully they have not grabbed your phone, remember the panic button lies on your phone. So if they have not grabbed your phone in the crime, then yes, use the panic button. You just download the app. I hope the app is already on your phone. You just open the app and then you press the panic button, and they will follow you wherever the phone is. If you're in a moving vehicle, maybe chasing someone, or you're running away from somebody and somebody's chasing you, once you press the panic button, somebody will come to your aid and even call you immediately to say you push the panic button. What type of emergency are you in? And I found that very helpful. However, if of course they take your phone, then you don't have any access to that panic button. So that's how I found that it works. But I can't go into further detail because I only know as much as I've only shared at the moment. And then when it comes to our community members not sharing or opening cases, look, it is a definite factor that um, confidence in our SAPS has dropped because sometimes somebody is arrested in front of your eyes only to find that tomorrow that same person is roaming the streets. Some people have alluded that they will go and open a case, and then suddenly the person who's supposed to be the suspect is being notified on who the whistleblower is, you know. So we are trying to work again with the SAPS to make sure that we instill confidence back in the people because yes, those were some cases from a long time ago, but I'm not 100% sure if it's still happening most recently because we do have some incredible SAPS members that actually want to make a difference in the community. But of course, you'll find those that unfortunately don't really have the tenacity to want to carry out their duty with enthusiasm. So, look, confidence is definitely one of the factors.
And then the issue of hijacked houses. We have seen in other communities whereby not long ago, I think it was somewhere one stone thrown away here in Lindist, where we saw Ethiopians who were alleged to have been trafficked to South Africa. Are there any cases of illegal hijacked houses around the community of Bramley? And then also, are there any serious cases of cable theft where you go by in days without electricity because of some electricity cable theft and so on? Have you ever experienced such cases, Theo?
Thank you, Muntu, for the question because it raises a part and parcel of what perhaps we haven't spoken about yet. But yes, 100% when it comes to cable theft, they don't necessarily steal the cables themselves, but they go into the mini substation. They'll go into a mini substation, they'll go into what we call a TSS. The TSS is that big one where it got in a link to you open the doors and inside there's a transformer. They will steal cables from the transformer. They steal cables as well from the street lights. I think the street lights, more than anything, is vandalism. You find that they break the street lights so that they can come and commit the crime later. We've had as the Bramley View Residents Association, we've had a street light campaign where we wanted to get each and every street light in Bramley View well lit so that we can see what happens at night. And immediately, City Power will come in tonight, or rather today, and they'll fix the street lights on that road today. And within a few days, all of those lights are also not working anymore. And then when they go and check, they find that the cables have then been pulled out. And not because they are stealing the cables, but because they actually want to come and commit a crime later on. So 100% when it comes to our infrastructure and City Power's infrastructure, it is vulnerable. And we've had cables being stolen from the pole. Some of them on the pole, you find that the cable is coming from the top, it goes into the ground and into your home. That cable has also been stolen, where you find that now City Power has gotten to a point where they were so inundated with these cable thefts that they actually started to refuse to repair and buy these cables on behalf of the community until we had to have a sit down again and complain and file and escalate until eventually City Power says they'll replace the cables that are stolen. Um, that's one question. I'm not sure. I forgot the other question.
Yeah. Still on that note, Still on that note, Theo. Still talking about the electrical issue. In terms of business, we have seen ESCOM has embarked on cutting illegal connection to businesses that are not paying ESCOM. Have you ever come across businesses around that vicinity that are not paying their electricity to ESCOM?
Look, on our side, we're not privy to that information, but City Power has indeed alluded that not everyone, even in Bramley View, is paying for their electricity. So that will include even businesses. It will include even the hijacked properties. And yes, I think your previous question was regarding hijacked properties. We do indeed, even in Bramley View, have hijacked properties. And look, it's not pretty obvious to every person's eye. It's not like what we saw in the Northeast, where suddenly there's like a lot of foreign nationals stuck in one house and maybe naked or anything that can make you feel confused. But I'm aware of some properties in Bramleyview that have been hijacked. You find that it's registered to a person, and if that person passes on or that house is left alone for quite some time, somebody else will come in and use that property and fill it up with rentals, people who will come and rent the property out. So we do have quite a few number of those in Bramley View as well. And as to which ones are not paying for electricity, unfortunately, I don't have that information.
Yeah, and then also, I mean, many people always regarded Bramley as a very close-knit community, you know. The issue of the water woes, water shortages, I mean, Kasi to Kasi, in many suburbs, we've been going through this issue, Yametsi. So you guys, how have you been so far with the issue of water shortages in Bramley View? How has this issue affected you, the issue of water woes?
I, I believe we have been very fortunate in Bramley View that we haven't had any water challenges. The only time we do is when, or in the community, when there is, and sometimes we find that they will close the water just temporarily for the fixing. However, when it comes to any water challenges, I think we are very lucky to say that we don't experience a lot of those in Bramley.
Okay, so in terms of your vision and your mission as the Bramley Residents Association, just take us through one more time. What is your mission and the vision and your objective as association?
Funny enough, I've got it on my background here, so I'll just tell them.
Yeah, just take us through. Yeah,
and I'll just read it out loud to you. This is formally, but of course, if I had to, yeah. So our mission is to create a safe and clean and prosperous Bramley View by strengthening security and maintaining public spaces and fostering a united community where residents feel proud and property values are protected. Our vision is for the community of Bramley View to once again identify as a clean, safe, and well-maintained suburb. I know that back in the days in the 90s, when we spoke of Bramley View, we spoke of a very highly acclaimed suburb. But these days, it feels like just another extension of Yakokasi. But yeah, we want to bring back that glory and create a fertile opportunity for investment because A lot of the times you find that when a house is being sold in Bramley View, it is then replaced by a person who wants to buy a property to rent it out. Whereas we say invest by bringing in your family, your home, or at least a business that will benefit the community. And for Bramley View to be a self-reliant community that still tackles and overcomes challenges as a community united. Because it's not just about government entities coming to our rescue. We would love to see our community come together and we tackle our challenges united.
So,
And of course, our values include integrity, accountability. Yes, sir.
yeah, no, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
Yes. So our values are transparency as well, and inclusivity and humanity, because we don't want to be an organization that's just made up of four walls, but we'd like to know that we are in touch with our human aspect as well.
And now you spoke earlier on, Theo, that it was not a once-off event, and of course it was end of the month. Many people, you know, it's end of the month. It's one of those busiest weekends. So where to from here? So when can the community expect another round of crime indaba? Since it happened at the end of the month. So when is the next scheduled meeting?
Okay. Our next meeting is on the 10th, which is on Wednesday, from 6 p.m. till 8 p.m., or rather from half past 5 p.m. till 8 p.m. Is for half past 5 or 6 p.m. And this one is going to be online. So it's going to be an online version of the Indaba, where we hope that a lot of our community members will now be able to join and have an opportunity, since it's the middle of the month and it's the middle of the week as well. And let's sit for 2 hours and engage further. Now, from that point on, we then want to send out an online form where people get to look at the presentation in their own capacity and their own accord, and then they can respond to it using a Google form where they say, I would prefer this package for our community or for my household. I would prefer this or that package out of the three tiers, the packages that we've introduced. And from there, again, we'll have to keep engaging with the community over and over again. We do have an amount of 18 extensions, and the 19th one is again our business forum. So those extensions each have a small knit community and their own leadership, and they
Okay. All right. All right. Are you still there, Theo? All right. Now, my other final
own
question.
way of doing things. So while we engage and we're pushing for the community, it's an ongoing process. Our youth members. Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, Theo, as you alluded earlier on, as someone who was born from Kokasi, from a well-known family, Lengwati, Orla, Brabili, and the rest, and all of them. So, what lessons should be learned by Alex and other areas from what you guys are doing, Bramley View? Surely this is quite a very critical and a very intriguing concept that you guys came up with. So, what lessons should be drawn from you, and what lessons can Alexandra learn from you
Thank
guys?
you very much. Thank, thank you very much. I would like to firstly say that some of the lessons that we have learned are drawn from Kasi lifestyle and what Alexandra has done. Alexandra has always found a way to unite. You see it sometimes comes about. You see it sometimes through protest action or when it comes to protecting their community. As you've said, no go na le mapatrola ka Alexandra, no go na le block to block. They clean different blocks of Alexandra. Go na le bo Lasgado. There's different organizations in Alexandra, and it shows that people are able to unite. There's different political parties in Alexandra, and people are able to gather And when it comes to supporting each other, go na le di-society, go na le manyalo, go na le I think the only advice I would think in like the right way, and when I say the right way, I mean like through a lawful way. For example, um, we know that some of Mapatrola that be accused of taking the law into their own hands. I think that unity again could then, and that formality could then guide the CPF or the Patrola stylist under for it. When crime, hand them over to the police. Let the law take this process so that we can find out that is this person indeed guilty or not. Because sometimes but when wrong, that has been falsely accused, maybe falsely identified, the same person that committed the crime. So the advice that I would give to the community of Alexandra is that while you have these structures, while you have this sense of unity, use it in a way that aligns to the law, and you will never go wrong. Nothing is those things will stand. And for those community members in Alexandra who are not able to I think find a way in which you can support those movements, maybe financially, because no movement can really move without a capital backing or a financial support. So I like the fact that my patron and the run somehow, some way. But again, it was so informal that you didn't know for a guy. And the advice that I would have is by organizing, by formalizing, you have a central bank account, you have a constitution, you have an executive, you have a board that looks after the executive. Once you have a proper governing body, I'm supporting what is happening in my community and knowing that this support is going to the right place. So I would always say formalize, 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 and do the right thing lawfully.
Wow, that's Theo Lengwati, the president of the Bramley View Residents Association. Here's another personal question, if I may ask you to you, Theo. If I may put it to you and say, Theo, why are you still in Bramley as someone who could afford to go and live in Sandton or Bryanston and other areas? I mean, you can afford. I mean, we are a hardworking man. But why are you still in Bramley, and what does Bramley mean to you?
Yeah, thank you for that. Look, Bramley is my home. The house that I live in was bought by my grandmother in 1996 when she moved out of Alexandra. And I grew up here. And as much as when things go wrong, you are able to run away and go to another place where the community there has done something right in order for that community to look and function the way it does. So for me to move here and go to Stanton or Bryanston, that community has already put in the work. And now I'm leaving the problem behind and I'm giving it to someone else and saying, this is now your problem. It's no longer my problem. And I would like to say instead, no, I would like to be here and get my community to the level that it is in Stanton, to the level that it is in Bryanston. Because in my community, it has the potential to be that as well. Why should it be somebody else's problem? Let it be my problem. Let it be our problem. Let's come together and let's fix our own community. And let's get our community to a brighter place so that when somebody else decides to move from their community, they can say to themselves, yo, I no good in a because Bramley is already like that. So I would rather not say no sentence. I'm thinking I'd rather be here and fix my own community. It's the same as those who leave the country and say South Africa is in shambles. Therefore, I'm gonna move to Australia. I say no to that. I say let's fix South Africa. Let's fix our own country. Let's get South Africa right. But charity begins at home. We can't talk South Africa while that crime is special. So we thought more than anything, let it start at home. And I think more than anything, I must add before we do go, before all local, that I think we will be able to achieve anything in any community as long as we do it with love. Firstly, love for self. If when we tata, we wanna catch up how totally we the air is beautiful. And once you love yourself, it's easier to love your neighbor. You then show love to your neighbor. For legal and habana batos kolong na asio o tabakapomen. Outside their house, you are able to phone Marcellon and say, hey, what's going on? And through that love, we can build that love in a community and love one another and love our own community. And through this love, I believe we will definitely achieve the security and the beauty that we are looking for in Bramley View. And you can achieve it in any neighborhood, including Alexandra. Some people think Alexandra is a lost cause. No way. I think as a community that shows love to one another and united, we can definitely fix Alexandra in any neighborhood.
Wow, said it
Through that
mouth.
love.
Yep. So, how's the future for Bramley View, and then how would you like to see Bramley View in the next 10 years from now?
I imagine Bramley View almost functioning like a mistake. Go watch up on it. I believe, imagine driving into Bramley View and there's boom gates, there's a security guard already, you start to feel safe. When you drive past, you see cameras. Maybe at the corners, you see one or two guys wearing reflectors to show that these are CPF members. Imagine it clean and beautiful. Finally, a river more in Karabo, or rather, Karabo never more Nabola like Sandile, Constantine, Amutisa Motampa, Abatomotisa more Bramley View, where there's a river that separates Bramley View and Lindes. By that river bank, it's so dangerous. It's untaken care of. When you look at it, you don't want to pass through that. So we want to adopt places like that, turn it into a dog park, maybe a park where kids can go with those gymming equipment outside, maybe hiking. So I'm looking at it as, yeah, man, let's start up for no, 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 no. If you're coming to Bramley View, you better know your story. So, yeah, 10 years from now, I see it as a beautiful community that's well united.
Great stuff. So, what's your final parting shot, your final message to the community of Bramley and the surrounding areas and the community of Joburg and Gauteng?
To the community members of Bramley View and the community members of every other community around all the wards, the whole of Johannesburg, what I will say is that when it comes to security, don't think about the price tag. It's not about the price tag. I know some of us pay over 900 Rand for DSTV. Some of us pay for Netflix. Some of us pay for fiber or Wi-Fi. And we think those things are the most important things until a crime happens to you, until your child is kidnapped, until you are hijacked outside your property, until there's an intruder in your house holding you hostage. That's when you'll realize that security is paramount. I think at the top of any summit, it's security first. So when we think of security and when we think of security for your neighborhood, do not think about the price tag. It is not about the money. It's about the value. Think about what this will bring to your neighborhood. Imagine driving past your child playing on a bicycle outside the street and you in your house.
Okay, there you go.
The child is out too. Right now, the facility and the learner on program from which you please don't put a price tag to your security. We need you here. Thank you.
All right, there we go. That's Mr. Theo Lengwati, the president of the Bramley View Residents Association. Mamedi, that's how we come to the end of our conversation with the man. That's how he said it. There's still going to be another meeting that is going to take place. I think the meeting will be... Theo, are you still there? You said the meeting will be on this month, by the way. Theo, the meeting. I didn't get it right.
On the 10th?
Yeah, just come back.
September? on Wednesday from 5:30.
Okay, yeah, there you go. Is it on Zoom or is it at the same place where it used to be Gift of the Givers?
No, this time it's online. It's going to be on Microsoft Teams. We've shared the link with all our um, community groups as well as the email addresses that we have, and of course through our contact details on our social media pages put up again the link.
All right, there you go. No, there you go. That's Theo Lengwati, the president of the Bramley View Residents Association. Mamido Mutle, there you have it. This is where we leave it. Until next time, that's our guest, Theo Lengwati. Theo, thank you so much, man, for taking time to talk to us. It has been an absolute pleasure, and I'm looking forward to have another conversation with you.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, Theo, have yourself a productive and a prosperous week ahead, man. And sincerely, all the best of the best with you guys, the Bramley Resident Association. We'll keep in touch in a not long distance future. Thank you, Theo. Stay blessed. All the best.
Thank you, Muntu, for the opportunity. Thank you very much.
All right, there you go. That's our special guest. There's Theo Lengwati, the president of the Bramley View Residents Association in Mamede. There you have it. This is what guys are doing. They are making sure they keep Bramley View safe and sound, and they've got quite a number of projects that they have embarked on. And so this is what they are doing, of course, for their community there. That's Theo Lengwati, the president of the Bramley View Residents Association, which it's a resident-led movement that is committed to restore safety, cleanliness, and pride in the community of Bramley. So there's quite a lot of lessons to be learned from there. There you go. It is 23 minutes after the hour 11 o'clock, and it's a very good evening to you in case you have just joined in. And of course, not forgetting that it's the 7th, of course, the 7th of September. Of course, this is the day Steve Biko, of course, was killed in Pretoria by the apartheid government. So we take you down the memory lane of Stephen Biko, who died on September 7th. Of course, it is my birthday today. And of course, if you are celebrating your birthday, happy belated birthday to you and you. And of course, it's spring day, summertime, hashtag spring day, hashtag happy summer Sunday. Good evening to you. It is 24 after 11 o'clock. It's our time zone in South Africa. And of course, we experience different times if you are on other parts of the country. But our time zone is 24 minutes after the hour 11 o'clock. It's a beautiful Sunday, hot summer night, and the 7th of September. All right, there we go.
24/7 around the world, non-stop. This is Alex FM. 24/7 around the world, non-stop. This is Alex FM 89.1. Elevate your mind. Josie's finest radio. Alex FM. Elevate your mind.
These are our Alexandra heroes.
Dr. Leapile Daunyani, born in the Free State on December 14th, 1928. His parents moved to Alexandra Township north of Johannesburg when he was a child. Daunyani had to leave school when his father died. He worked on the Western Reef mines to help support the family. But after a year, his sister insisted he returned to school. He matriculated at Orlando High, got a teaching diploma at the Bethesda Training College in what was then the Northern Transvaal, and went to Fort Hare University. He got a BA degree in systematic theology and biblical studies. Later got another BA degree through UNISA, this one in education and sociology. He began teaching at the Alexandra Secondary School and was only in his second year there when he was asked to become headmaster after two previous headmasters were removed because of financial irregularities. He was president of the politically non-aligned Transvaal United African Teachers Association and the National Association of Provisional Teachers Organization. He led the desperate fight against the apartheid government's plan to de-establish Alexandra as a residential area and fill it with giant hostels for migrant workers instead. He formed the Alexandra Liaison Committee to negotiate with the government. This did not save him and his committee from constant and severe harassment by the security branch of the police. In 1976, and after 13 years of struggle, they finally won a reprieve for Alex when the government shelved its hostel program after building 3 of them. He made a local Dutch Reformed Church minister Sam Boody chairman of the committee in the fond hope that the government would be more receptive to someone from their church. He played a leading role in the professionalization of black soccer, which led to the formation of the National Premier Soccer League in 1971. He was chairman of the Premier Soccer League from 1996 to 2001 and acting CEO for some of this time. He passed away at the age of 87.
My history, your history. Kava ikasi lakho.